Many Jamaicans will tell you that when it comes to standard of living, Jamaica is a society of stark contrast. At one end, there are those who live in unfettered opulence, while at the other, there are the masses who seem to be going around in circles, desperately trying to make ends meet. Jamaicans who live in abject poverty are to be found mainly in rural areas and in inner city communities such as Trenchtown and Riverton City. Stringent economic policies from the International Monetary Fund, a weakened dollar, one of the highest debt burdens in the world, high unemployment and low productivity, among other severe economic challenges, have forced Jamaica to tighten its belt, and the poor are feeling more than a pinch. Hundreds of people from these poor and depressed communities say they're on the brink of starvation. For them, it's a dark, cold world where they have been forced to eke out a miserable existence in trash heaps and on crime-infested streets.
To be poor is a crime. Man, I know that in this your time.
The last survey of living conditions revealed that 20% of Jamaicans are living below the poverty line. Many believe this figure is grossly underestimated.
Well, poor people fed up. To your system, shake up your issue gun for whipping the balls. Poor people fed up. To your system.
The tough streets of Kingston are where you will find those who are at the bottom of the proverbial barrel. Scores of homeless Jamaicans like Aston Grant have to endure the elements, illness, and constant hunger while trying to survive in the city. He complains that when it comes to caring for the poor, Jamaica has gone to the dogs. Others tell stories about how they are treated like or even worse than dogs. Aston, who has been living on the streets for 18 years, says apart from having to battle poverty and illnesses such as urinary incontinence, he has also been shot and robbed numerous times.
And a package of water from June and up to the mosquito flu take me on the street. God himself take care of me. But I'm not working.
Poor people living in a shacks. Rich I live in a heart attacks.
62-year-old Winston has been living on the streets for 17 years. Like Aston, he also suffers from urinary incontinence. He says he has had some gut-wrenching experiences on these harsh streets.
You have 16 block here between 20 and 30, and you have 2 men coming here with gangrene in the foot, sitting on with you. You can't eat your food, man. It smell, man. People like that should be in a hospital. See, I have a people bag, and I wouldn't go in the hospital because it smells sometimes, you know. And that's why they don't go the sick must go one side and leave, you know what I mean? The smell of gangrene is very amounts and sickness inside the hospital. Three people I know dead on the street, get cut, the throat cut. It's a dangerous thing, it's not a nice thing sleeping out. I don't sleep most nights, I stay awake because dangerous thing, man.
42-year-old Debbie Williams has been on and off the streets because of her inability to afford rent. She does not believe the government is doing enough for the poor. Debbie has lost all hope in the system.
Most time when they're on the street, them thief you, because what they then take my bag and me drop and all of me cut up. They will do try to rape you. And you're not safe. You understand? But we only so true around the soldier with there, we little safe. When we come up here, because what they me down there, so I don't know who take up my bag, I'm running down and me drop and all of me cut up.
This Good Samaritan, who prefers not to be identified, has dedicated her life to helping the poor. We saw her taking food to the homeless outside the gates of Up Park Camp in Kingston. She also takes issue with how the government has been handling the matter and believes it can do much more.
Make them find gainful employment and them look away and make them get them food because sometimes we go up at the gully up the top there so and they pay AIDS people up there so and them want to look after them need to come out of the gully trust me. I'm going to walk all around Crossroad more time. Some of them mad, some of them are good people. Them just homeless, now have nowhere to go, and now have nobody to care for them. You understand me?
And you think you're saying that the government is not doing anything?
No, I do nothing for them because look on them two young male there. Oh my God, man.
You don't have to say you're sorry for all the wrongs that you have done. I don't want to hear a sad story, 'cause the damage already done.
This woman, whose identity we will not disclose, lives in one of Jamaica's poorest and most depressed communities. The resident of Trenchtown can neither read nor write. In fact, she has never enrolled in a school. The mother of 4 is among those in the inner city who are caught in a perpetual cycle of poverty. She tells us that she has to sell her body at nights in order to buy food for her children. It's not something she is proud of, but she says her children have to be fed and they have to get the education she didn't.
I work at night time. Nothing really up there much, but we work, we get 5 bills, sometimes 450. We work what it said. When we work, it all depends on, when we work at night time, and we get the, sometimes a man come, and normally 1,000 you charge them. Sometimes they do have 1,000, so you tell them say 5 bills, they're not going to really leave it, right? You're going to take it because you have the kids them, so you have to eat food. And plus them have sickle cell, heart problem, kidney problem, pneumonia, so you have to go take it because they really come make a muckle.
Her community was known as a place steeped in squalor and violence long before its most famous son, Bob Marley, revealed it to the rest of the world decades ago. Today, the situation is perhaps even more grim, and some residents don't believe it will change, at least not in their lifetime. Over in Riverton City, there are even more obvious signs of social decay. It's home to the city dump, and the residents say they have more opportunities than many in other depressed communities. However, there's need for more social infrastructure. Debbie, a mother of 3, works $5,000 per week. That's hardly enough for her and her children to survive.
It's very rough. Because the first thing I do, my great interest is to make sure that they go to school. And the first thing I do is to make sure that I put the lunch money aside. After doing that, I struggle a lot to find food and everything else that comes after. Sometimes I can buy the bread, but the eggs, it might not come in place because the money is not, there to reach the eggs. Other than that, we're poor people, so we know to take our hand and make fashion. So as a parent, and if you're caring, you will try to find something for a pound of rice. You understand? You find somewhere to fix it up and let the kids have something to eat.
Debbie is especially disheartened because of the painful life lessons her children have been experiencing in how to cope with poverty.
You don't have enough to give them, but you try to make them be content with whatever they have. You teach them that. I don't know for other people, but I do that because I am a single parent.
So you pack the lunch money?
No,
lunch kit for them?
Not lunch kit. I give my son is going to JC. I give him like $500. When I do give him it, I know it's not enough for bus fare and lunch money, but he have to do well with it.
Crainergy is an aspiring singer. He tells us that things get worse every day.
Uncle John alone know how we survive. You see what I say? Because we look for food at desolate places. You see what I say? Even though I'm a Rasta, I shouldn't even raise hog. But you don't know survival of the key, we have to keep survive. You see what I say? We have to keep the hog them and eat, and we cannot even, watch out now? Two the reason we cannot even buy as much feeding to deal with the thing. You see I say, so we want help towards the thing. I tell you, say, sometime I hunger one time for the day. When we cook a pot in a day, we eat lunch out of that and we eat dinner out of that. Because we don't know the next day how it will go. The next day have to talk to itself. The next day, it have to show for itself. We have to dig it again.
Well, down in the ghetto where the poor have a thing, and the politician is the guns them a bring. Hey, and the crack and the cock them a support the killing. Me check it out, the whole of them are the same thing.
Dr. Orville Taylor is a noted sociologist and radio talk show host. He often has to give a listening ear as he tries to help poor Jamaicans muddle through their social and financial woes.
So we have to get a little tighter on the measurement, a little bit clearer on our concepts of what we consider to be poverty. But there are indeed some baselines. You must know that you are able to have, maybe 3 decent meals or at least 2 decent meals per day, and you are able to send your children to school, and you are, and you are able to, take care of your day-to-day expenses.
Wayne and his friends reside in communities off Maxfield Avenue. They each live on roughly $100 a day. Every day they get up with one aim: to get the $100 or more, if they are lucky, to buy lunch to serve them for the rest of the day. This is clearly survival.
When you come in the morning, I come there and write them David, 100 I try to get go. We buy 100 of food and no say. I go and hold me right through the day to the next day.
On day-to-day basis still, my body survives the same way. Some work, some no work. But a little bit alone at work. And that can't help. See it? And overwork, that have to benefit them and them family alone. That can't benefit nobody else. Because bills them, the food them, everything rest. And we there now, we have to hunt for one. We know look money have something we want to move, we go try to move that. And see if we can get a little thing to survive. You see it?
Their neighbor, who goes by the name Dagger, also tells a similar story. Dagger says the hunger can be unbearable at times, but this is life in the ghetto, a life they have to get used to.
Big man, they come survive still, like live good on some people, Them deal good, they deal people good and they deal good at us. You see me? You can't more time, you can't get that one plate of food for them to sell you more, you see me? Yeah, you see me? More time I just one time for the day said you out there, survive it. More time while us up on the street to say Like more time without they up on the street and a little bridge in our pass through, you see me? Man, give you a little 2 bills or thing or so, you see me?
Samuel Kushney works as a security guard in Kingston. He has had his fair share of financial challenges.
Working at this place for 17 years. 7 years now, I don't get a raise of pay, I don't get a day off, and I get a leave. 7 years now, I don't get none of them there. And I still occupy the job because I can't do better. You understand? So when I do my little $1,000 when I get it now, buy my grocery. Give me that, I have one daughter after 2 little grand pick me. I have to help her with them. I give her things sometime. Which was $3,000 per partner every week. So it was $6,000 every fortnight out of the pay. Because I want to build a little house. And if I not show the partner, I not go say a $50,000 or $60,000 one time. I carry $3,000 at the wholesale and I buy little food. So I don't do most cooking because if I cook, I can't cook. Probably one time or 2 times. So I snack me live off.
Mr. Kushney says he has watched his community become more poverty-stricken, forcing many of the unemployed residents to become what he calls professional beggars.
95% of them unemployed. And with all the unemployed, with them unemployed, them have 3 and 4 people to go to school. And beg send them to school.
Who them beg?
Anybody. If you go out there, them beg you now. If we go up and we want to go on so. And if someone beg you something before you go back in the vehicle, you're born lucky. Him can tell you. So that then loves his stranger. You understand? We say them beg for breakfast, them beg for lunch, them beg for dinner.
But Mr. Kushney also points to even more social deviations which could cause further harm to the community and its young people.
See the young girls them on so 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Them parents not nothing to give them. Them go to school, them parents give them $100 for lunch money. They mature, so them start pushing on themselves for man. You understand? Because them push on themselves for man, now they can beg a lunch money, they can beg a slippers, they can beg a jeans. So them parents can't afford it. Yeah, big 13, 14-year-old youth are left in here to go to school and the parents give them $100. Now no more, but them have to go to school because one thing will get to people. Money now stop them picking from going to school.
Gary Matalan is a businessman known for his keen focus on creating wealth for others. He agrees that there is no quick fix to Jamaica's poverty, but emphasizes the need for government to pay more attention to training people in the development of micro, small and medium-sized businesses.
There are a whole host of challenges and things that as a small business owner I had to overcome in the earlier stages that I really can't make sense of, and I really think that we could do a lot better job as a country of facilitating development of small business. Having said that, I will tell you that over the course of the last 8 years, I have seen where improvements have been made, and governments have taken steps to improve it. Whether it's enough or whether it's, whether they've done a good enough job, difficult, because I know it's a tall task to begin with for anybody.
Garfield Bennett, a father of 3, is obviously disillusioned by what he says is the poor response from the authorities. His cries are similar to that of many poverty-stricken Jamaicans who believe they have been neglected by successive governments.
Right now, if you're not nothing to eat, government no business. As you're dead, them care. So why you not stop the man, full the man belly from early, before he get weak out when him have to dead? Why you not? I them make the youth them go to prison, you know. I them make the youth them go to prison. Because you not no work, you not nothing for the way you go do, you not have to go thief. So that cause the crime, you know. The government, she and him, and them build up the crime. Because them nah do nothing for the poor people. Them. You have to do something for the poor. Make the poor see say, yo, I can't go get a little salary, you know. I have a little work where I can get something, so I don't have to go fire no gun. I don't have to go broke nobody place. At the government at Jamaica, I cost the youth them for fire shot. At the government at Jamaica, cost the youth them for rob and kill people. The government at Jamaica, the whole of them want to put in a barrel and roll down a hill.
But officials of the Planning Institute of Jamaica argue that successive administrations have been doing their best to bring poverty levels down. Dr. Anicia Gale Geddes is in charge of poverty reduction at the Planning Institute. She outlines how the poverty line is determined.
For the 2012 data, which is the latest year, for the reference family of 5 to which we generally refer, the poverty line would be $543,000 per annum expenditure. For per adult equivalent, that's now an adult, that is approximately $143,000 per year. And the expenditure that we speak of, we measure poverty in Jamaica by consumption, not based on income. And the consumption is both food and non-food consumption. So food and beverages, transportation, how much you would spend on durable goods in your household, and other expenses, living expenses in general. So you have, for example, 25% of children 0 to 17 years old are poor compared to persons of working age. Adult working years, 18 to 64, 17.8% of them are poor, compared to 14.5% of the elderly, 65 years and over. So the face of poverty is it's not homogeneous, and so the characteristics vary by age, by gender, by geographical location, by disability. So you find that for persons who are disabled in Jamaica, 24.8% of them are poor compared to persons without disabilities. And so when we talk about poverty and the poor, we have to realize that they're not a homogeneous group, and indeed to treat with and respond, we have to take into consideration the multidimensionality of the face of poverty and the vulnerabilities.
Dr. Gail Geddes reiterates that poverty had been trending down since 1992, but went back up because of the global recession in 2008, dipped again in 2011, and has been on the rise since. This has resulted in what she calls an urbanization of poverty.
I think there are a number of factors that have been contributing to the urbanization of poverty, if you will. The migratory pattern within Jamaica, we see that we're becoming more urbanized over time. When we look at the census data, we see that. And so generally speaking, persons tend to move from rural parishes to urban areas to find opportunities, whether in our case we measure other towns and urban areas, other towns and the Kingston metropolitan area. So people are moving generally from rural areas to urban and peri-urban areas to find opportunities, employment, better living conditions. And so you will find that the characteristics of the urban areas change, because now with greater proportion of the population living in these areas, there's a greater pressure and demand on the resources of these communities.
The PIOJ representative says the government has implemented several initiatives aimed at combating poverty, including growth inducement strategies. A key strategy is the well-touted Vision 2030 plan, which aims to make Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business by 2030. However, it is hard to convince many Jamaicans that significant growth will finally be realized in a country that has averaged 1.1% growth since the 1970s. While the global economy grew by an average 3%. Many young Jamaicans like Christ are yet to share in the vision. He strongly believes the government needs to wake up.
No, I don't believe in that still, no. Because the same world order where they come with, a whole order they come with. One of them talking there, and the same thing we hear over and over. Them now, yeah, want something new. Need something new, like put out some, government and everybody.
Different people around it and
they see. Because they tell you this and that and them not fulfill it.
So basically you have to just say you need a new system of government.
Yeah, the system kind of shake up.
Deputy Director General of the Planning Institute, Richard Lumsden, however, maintains that Vision 2030 is realistic, and the government has made critical moves to ensure the dawning of a new Jamaica in 15 years.
So really what I would say to that young man or that young person in Maxfield Avenue, and I can assure you that in the development of the plan, we did talk to the members of communities, both in a city and rural, and in the implementation of the plan, we continue to talk to and work with members of communities all through the island, including in the inner cities. We tell them that the vision is for them, that they are a part of this process, an integral part, that really we build the country from the ground up, just in the same way that you build a house from the ground up, and that our communities are the bedrock of our national development. We have a program, the Community Renewal Program, which really works with other agencies also working at the community level.
Gary Matalan believes Vision 2030 is a great idea, but says the government needs to ensure its solid execution if it is to reduce poverty and create better opportunities for Jamaicans.
It's a monstrous plan. I mean, it's an enormous undertaking, and for it to yield the result that they're trying to achieve, you're going to need that driver. You're going to need somebody pushing that and ensuring along the way that what's happening is supposed to be happening.
Mr. Matalan also wants the government to make better use of culture and other non-traditional economic ventures to help improve our economy.
I absolutely do believe that there is way more we could do with regards to the creative industries. I think as a culture, as a people, the Jamaicans, and we have proven this time and time again that we just excel in those areas. I think music certainly, the athletics, those are what a lot of people consider, and I consider, the best elements of brand Jamaica, and I think that we need to look to develop those.
Meanwhile, Samuel Kushney argues that Jamaica will not escape poverty until it begins to take full advantage of opportunities in agriculture.
We have the best ganja and herb in Jamaica. Every country ganja they behind our ganja.
I remember those days when hell was my home, when me and mama bed was a big piece of foam.
Social commentator iNation believes Jamaica has not yet begun to scratch the surface when it comes to addressing our social and economic challenges. He believes we will always be poor if moves are not made to change the psyche of the people.
It's like we create our own poverty more time. You know? We create our own poverty because we have no economic sense. You know, we don't, the Chinese, you know, they don't spend outside their family, you know. If you want to sell a thing for $20, you know, and his brother have it to sell for $25, I'm going to buy it from his brother for $25. Him not come buy it from you for save for $5. But we don't have them economic practice there as black people. You know, the Chinese don't buy things because they want it, they buy a thing because it's the need. You know, him not going to spend the one money and buy a Benz. Him rather buy a Corolla or buy a IS bus and work it. You see what I say? Him not going to buy a Clarks. Him rather go buy 3-4 shoes. You know? Him not feel like him have to wear a name brand to feel a sense of worth. We have not gone through a process of decolonization. Over 50 years of independence now have yet to go through a process of decolonization. And our people have been colonized for so long, our people have been colonized at all, need to go through a process of decolonization before they can return to a semblance of their true identity and real autonomous power. You see what I'm saying? So until we go through this process, we are just phantom.
Meanwhile, Dr. Taylor echoes the need for the government to protect the rights of the workers in an age where contractual arrangements and poor working conditions seem to be the order of the day.
I link productivity or labor productivity to labor standards. You can't have economic growth where our high levels of productivity, where you feel that you must go and race to the bottom, where the average worker now is seeing more and more of his worker benefits erode. It doesn't work. So when you're moving in the direction now of this contract work phenomenon, etc., and where the majority, well, not the majority, but a large number of workers, an increasing number of workers, are being removed from the general protection of the various labor laws, you are going to end up with lower levels of labor productivity, and thus you see all of this so-called spreading of the economic growth, it's not going to take place. As a result, you're going to find this same paradox of what took place in the 1960s, where you may have some amount of economic growth, but it goes to one set of people, and at the same time poverty is increasing.
Dr. Taylor affirms that there is need for more people-oriented development and for government to ensure that the wealth is spread as best as possible throughout the society.
Unless a government in the developing world adopts socialist type, because people it's still a dirty word, socialism, because it sounds like communism. But unless they develop socialist type mechanisms for the redistribution of income and the protection of the poor and social protection and all of those things, then you're going to have these exaggerations. Because the nature of capitalism is to concentrate wealth in the hands of a small minority.
The solution, he asserts, rests in stemming political ills such as corruption and ensuring that Jamaicans get the education that is necessary so that they can make the right decisions to steer the country forward.
You increase the spending on education and realize that a population that is more educated will just automatically do the right set of things that are going to lead to and make better economic choices and also make better choices of political leaders as well, right? and that is perhaps one of the reasons why we might not have been overly interested in mass education in the true sense of the word. But with a more educated population, that's just about the best investment you can make. So you will see all of the economic choices and coming in place, and a better trained population to take on the task of development.
Many of those who continue to live in poverty still believe there is hope, a kind of hope that has come to define Jamaicans as a people who never give up.
I know that if we do get help so that we can find, different sources, like help ourselves business-wise, you understand, to strengthen ourselves as single parents, things will be more better.
Yeah, there is hope for Jamaica, but them just need to come together and can just help each other, because you have a whole heap of people out there need help.
Defend the down press is a must. You don't need a iron eye fight nor fuss, cause everything them say them rightful won't belong to us. My father don't tell iron eye everything shall fall to iron eye is a must. So Babylon set the liberty every day, another one bite the dust. My Lord.